AI Chronicles, Warren and Mitchell.
I really like chatting with Claude AI. And today I heard on a podcast about some guys in tech or venture capital, something like that, talking about I have a meeting and they leave ChatGPT audio mode on the phone. And so they were having three men were having a meeting and there's an extra person there, ChatGPT. Now, my experience using it on the phone is I turn it on and it's going through my headphones and I'm having trouble getting the word that I want to ask right, get the question right. And about then my wife walks into the room and that's a three-way conversation that makes no sense at all because she's asking, why am I saying to shut up? And I'm trying to turn off the thing. So we're still learning about that. But the difference is 2 years ago, I sat down with ChatGPT. That was the first, and then went into Claude. I mean, I've been using LLM since they were 6, 7 years ago and horrible copywriters, but, could help you in some kind of writing. And then, of course, all the things that correct your writing and help you with that. And then when ChatGPT came out, I go, this is great. But I didn't get into just talking to it until Claude came out. And then I was talking to Claude. And at the end of a half hour, I felt like I'd learned something. And it seemed like most of the time I was telling Claude where I was wrong about hallucination. So, and I have the hallucination and I say, no, you got it wrong. Also, it's programming. I was asking about something that I thought was an objective fact, but it had been programmed by people with a little bit different view of the world. And it wasn't quite politics, but it was just kind of like how to look at something. And so I said, no, there's a difference. And I ended up asking the question, what's the difference between propaganda and persuasion? And there's baggage on the word propaganda, but how different is it?
That's a great question.
Yeah. And I only thought of that after talking to Claude for 10 minutes, trying to do something else. And then we got into that and we got into the history, Edward Bernays' writing, because he wrote a book on propaganda, which was later used by the Nazis, gave the word a bad name. And so Claude was able to discuss that with me. And I left with number one, that thing I just said to you, propaganda versus persuasion, which we could talk about all day. It was another topic, but I stopped there, went on to the next project. Now I find Claude still nice. I like the colors they use on the website, a little bit off-white, whatever the font is. Everything about it just seems to be a little bit upgrade from talking to ChatGPT. I use Perplexity all the time instead of a search engine. And I find it gives me a lot more information than I wanted. And sometimes the answer 6 different ways. But when I just went there to ask for where a website was. So it's got a little bit going, but now it's been 2 years later. And it's so ingrained into what I do that I just have casual conversations and they make sense. But I know that it gets me nowhere if I don't go ahead and have a conversation with a friend. So,
Warren, as it comes down to when you're looking at content from AI, it's important to be discerning, right? So having experience, having done things yourself, when you hear back from Claude, it tells you there's no difference or there's a warped difference between those two words you used. That's you using discernment, right? So what we need when you are in a vacuum talking to any AI is what discernment do you have on the data? When you're looking and talking with somebody, if I want to buy something from a company, I may use AI to do some research. I may use some AI to learn. And at some point in time, I want to talk to a human and verify that what I'm hearing is going to work. If I'm doing a professional service provider, I might use AI to say, hey, compare these 10, but let me have the 3 I need to talk to. Because at the end of the day, it's about the vibe. It's being able to see that the person you're working with and feel the energy, that they have the intent and commitment to do the right thing, that they're servant leaders, that they're focused on doing the right thing by you, not the right thing by them. AI is not going to help you understand that. The human-to-human contact will.